serious. Why did you cheat on your partner? Before we start with the first story, please hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Number 15. Because my wife told me that she was no longer interested in having sex with me, she didn't want me having it with anyone else, and she forbade me from watching porn or masturbating. I still did the latter, but we could never discuss it or she'd freak out. So get my sexual needs met by someone other than myself. For several years, a few times per year, I paid a sex worker for a happy ending massage. This was still cheating, but I rationalized it as the mildest form of cheating possible. No chance of an STI, no chance of an unwanted pregnancy, no emotional involvement. I knew it was wrong, but at the time I felt like it was my best choice out of several lousy choices. I realize now I should have just said at the time I want a divorce. That's where we ended up anyway, and I would have saved myself, my wife, and our kids some needless pain over the years. By cheating on her and hiding it from her, I made it so much worse when she eventually found out. To cheaters on here, I would say, get out of your relationship. If you're cheating, you're clearly not happy. Do yourself and your partner a favor, just end it now before it all goes to hell. Number 14. Because I truly had no idea what a healthy or functional relationship looked like. My parents were married for almost 30 years and had already started the cycle of cheating on each other well before I was born. My grandma used to tell me stories of being friends with my grandpa's girlfriends because she just wasn't toxic and jealous like other women. In the relationship where I cheated, I was being treated like garbage. Financially supporting us both even though I was 10 years younger and a waitress, enduring a lot of abuse from a very broken man. I felt trapped in the same cycle. I had watched my mom and my grandma live. I didn't really know better. A guy at work started paying attention to me, and I loved it. He was sweet and poetic and romantic, committed to helping his sister raise his niece, and was out of the house and working instead of drinking my paycheck away and punching holes in my walls. A little harmless work flirting quickly escalated, and before I knew it, I was having a whole affair. I started to prepare myself to leave my boyfriend for my affair partner when I found out that my boyfriend had been cheating on me with anyone he could find on Craigslist, including stealing money from me to pay sex workers. Any guilt I felt for cheating evaporated right then. I threw all my clothes in a trash bag and drove to my affair partner's house, ready to start our new life together. He had another girl over and basically admitted that a lot of what he had said to me was because he thought I would never leave. All in all, it was a mess. If you're unhappy in your relationship, do the work that will either fix it or get you out. That new person is flawed too. They won't fix you or fulfill you. Only you can do that. Number 13. Drunk and being hit on by a bendy yoga teacher. Got caught in the same day. It was a shit show. Number 12. Because I wasn't over my ex, and when she came knocking I didn't value my new relationship enough and crossed a line I never will lower myself to cross again. You feel like for years after it, really not worth it no matter how you try to justify it to yourself at the time. Number 11. Because I wanted to have sex with someone else. Nothing more to it. Not for revenge or disliking my partner. Just simply had the opportunity to F someone else and different sexual experience. The most honest answer on here. Number 10. It's considered cheating in my case, but things led up to it which caused the incident. We were on the 4-year mark and I was busy with a 9-to-5 in school. This didn't leave me much time aside from exercising and trying to make time for her. She liked to drink, but near the end, it got so bad. Communication prior to this was great but seemed toxic when she started drinking heavily / being out all night, which led me to despise her and not care anymore. Knowing we were still in a relationship, I still made an effort to talk / make time for her. It wasn't reciprocated and seemed like she didn't care to try. There would be points where I'd text her, and she wouldn't reply back for 8 to 9+ hours or in some instances, days. By the end, it seemed normal to me and made me believe that everyone would treat me like that. With the stress of all that I was doing, made me gain weight, and with her neglect, undesirable. At some point, I decided to focus on myself, and this was while we were still together. Kind of like we weren't together but we're still in a relationship. I started going out with friends / meeting new people. It was during this period I met someone and we clicked. I didn't think anything of it at the time, but along with other people, she and I exchanged numbers. Whenever we exchanged messages, she responded instantly and seemed like she wanted to talk to me. This was still while my then girlfriend was being aloof / ignorant towards me. You guys can figure out where this is going. Regarding my girlfriend at the time, I guess she got heavily intoxicated one night. I received a phone call around 2 to 3 and when I answered, a guy was talking. Told me he and his friends found her passed out in the bar and called me after unlocking her phone. I went and got her and broke up with her a couple days later. I'm willing to explain anything more regarding this story you guys want. Number 9. He was an abusive piece of would threaten me all of the time with various shit. He then cheated on me multiple times and called me crazy for accusing him of such things. We talked all of the time about how I felt. The problem was he had a kid that I grew really attached to. Obviously, if I left, I would never see them again. And when I did break up with him, it was a disaster because he would never leave me alone and I was weak. It was a vicious cycle. And honestly, he never wanted to have sex with me. Probably because he was getting it from someone else. We'd also talked a lot about it. I was in therapy for so long during that relationship. I met someone who I felt really valued me. He never lied to me, he always was around when I called. I don't regret cheating, I know it hurt him and I don't care. I broke up with him then. He of course tried everything he could to get me back. Not because he loved me but because he could control me. The worst part for me was when he called me with his kid. I almost broke down. But the guy I cheated on him with was with me every step of the way. Never got angry when I would have panic attacks about it and never scolded me for small things. Honestly, my cheating probably saved my life. The guy I cheated with and I had been together for almost a decade and married for 5 of those years. Never cheated ever again. Number 8. I broke up with her. She disagreed. I had to block her because she got so abusive. Started dating this other girl and my ex found out and told everyone I cheated. A new girlfriend almost took her side. Number 7. I honestly don't know what got into me that evening. All my emotional regulations were gone. Heavy drinking, smoking, while having a lung disease and normal, I don't, and having a sudden urge to hit on someone else. Regretted it a lot. It was only 2 seconds of kissing. Felt most guilty about the wanting to bang part. Number 6. Because I was too chicken shit to divorce because I was wildly unhappy and too proud to go to therapy to fix the marriage. So I cheated, got caught, and have since been to a ton of therapy and am getting a divorce. Even though I'm happy to have this relationship in my rearview, cheating is my life's biggest regret. Number 5. Insecurity, poor self-image, and an inability to put aside morals in exchange for stroking my ego. I was bullied all throughout school, depressed and angry. So after school, when I started actually getting attention from women, I went nuts. My ego was exploding. I'd lie about where I was going, delete text messages, have alternate accounts, etc., etc. I thought I was sly. I wasn't. She knew. They'd always find out. I've changed a lot since, and thankfully we're still together. But it hasn't been without its trials and tribulations. There are times I see the hurt in her eyes, and I wish I could take it all back, but at the same time, I really don't think I'd be where I am as a person today if it weren't for that experience. It took a lot for me to realize just what type of person I actually was, and I woke up one morning looking in the mirror and didn't like the person who was staring back at me. It was like an out-of-body experience where I didn't recognize myself, but I knew I hated what I was looking at. It's taken a lot, and I make sure I tell her every day that I love her, that I'll forever be hers for as long as she'll have me, but if she were to tell me tomorrow that she's done, I wouldn't hold it against her. She's my best friend, she's helped me grow as a person, and been way more patient than she had to be, and I wish I could take what I know now, go back in time, and start all over, just so she wouldn't have that hurt and that doubt that I know is eating away in the back of her mind. She doesn't deserve it. Number 4. Because she cheated on me first. I don't ever recommend such a stupid f***ing decision. It isn't worth it, folks. I normally considered myself strong and stoic before that. I don't have a foot to stand on now. It wasn't worth it. Number 3. He sexually assaulted me multiple times. I tried to leave for 3 years, from ages 16 to 19. Once, May 2022, he told me, "I won't let you leave me because of our sex life," like me being numb every time wasn't a valid argument. So I developed a crush on a friend. I didn't act on it, and it mainly faded, but when I finally broke up, June 2022, with my ex, 8 days later I slept with said friend and my ex says I cheated because we were emotionally together. After the breakup, he kept texting and calling me with anxiety attacks and spent 3 days at my house, being vulnerable and stuff. I felt so deep for him I couldn't be mad. After leaving, he spent a whole day calling me, and the next day I slept with my friend. My ex asked about him, I told him we slept together, and he blocked me. Honestly, a very traumatic experience. Number 2. I was drinking and doing a lot of coke. It honestly turned me into a careless piece of shit for a long time. Reply. Yeah, same. I didn't want any kind of emotional connection with anyone. I was coked up and drunk, and uncontrollably horny, and she started rubbing my crotch and kissing me, and I lost control. That was when I was 20. I'm 31 now. I have no issue avoiding those situations now. Also, nobody talks about how horrible you feel after. The girl was staying in our house, and I woke up early and visited my mom and just slept on her couch, feeling so much guilt and feeling so. I definitely recommend you don't cheat. It's such a horrible thing to do and isn't remotely worth it. I was so insanely suicidal, I gave my guns to my family, just saying, I don't want them anymore. Really, I was scared I'd kill myself. In the moment though, coke, booze, opiates, etc. can completely destroy your ability to feel empathy. Number 1. I don't know if it counts as cheating, but I was in a toxic relationship and couldn't break up, but I knew that she could leave the relationship instead. I made a Twitter account in which I pretended to be someone else, talked to her, fell in love, and she left me. She cheated on me with myself. And that's all the 15 best stories. If you like more of this, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your similar experience in the comment below. See you in the next video.